All right, let's get started with this lesson. We're going to look into editing and correcting problems in SolidWorks as we discussed in the previous video, the overview. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that your copy has certain settings selected. And to get there, we can either go Tools and then Options, or we can click this gear looking thing and come into Options here, either one, and then we're going to go into System Options. And under this menu, we're going to scroll down, and under Messages, Errors, and Warnings, we want to make sure that we show what's wrong for every rebuild. And then under Feature Manager Tree, where it says Display Feature Manager Tree Warning, we're going to come in here and we're going to select Always. We're going to hit OK. And now you can open the file. I think it's CS_edit or editing CS. So we're going to open that. And you can see that mine opens up already with just a bunch of errors. So the first thing you'll notice is this pop-up box, and this is called our What's Wrong dialog box. And it basically shows all the errors by feature, and it's scrollable. And so we can look at these and see what it picked up for errors for this part model. And so you'll notice that we don't see any of the model, and that's because when this came in and it had all the errors, it's actually preventing certain features from presenting or fulfilling what they were meant to be. And so as we go in and we start correcting these feature by feature, you're going to see this start to come back onto the screen. And the two main types of errors that we see up here are the ones in yellow, which are warnings. And these cause problems, but they do not prevent the feature from being created. Where the red ones, where it says error, that fails and prevents the feature from being created. That's why we don't see anything on the screen right now. And so with the type of warning, also then we have the feature or the entity, what it's related to, so we can help track that down. And I thought I could drag all these out, but I am unable to. But this H here is for help. And if it's got this question mark by it, we can click on that. And it's possible, not always, but it'll connect to the internet and the SolidWorks site, and it possibly can give us an explanation for the error and maybe a way on how to correct it as well. So and we can sort these by type, like errors first and then warnings, or warnings first. Right now they are previously was sorted by feature, and I believe that is in order. So go ahead and close this for now, and you can see our feature tree that it's nothing but errors. All right, so if we look at our feature tree and we go up to the top here where it says editing CS, which is the drawing name or the model name, and we can see there's a down arrow here. All that means is that there are one or more errors down below in the features down below. Where this can come into play is if we have a really complicated part model or an assembly that, we've got way more features than this. We might not be able to see them all at one time, but we can look up here and say, okay, well, we know that there's an error down there somewhere, and we can go search for it. So we look down here, and the actual error is going to have an X, and it's going to be in red. And as I said before, it's not able to, when it's in that state, it's not able to create geometry. Another level down is going to be the yellow, which is more like a warning. This is just on a plane, but if it was on one of the features, such as dangling relations or something, the geometry would still be able to be created. So sometimes the way this will display itself is with all these sketches also open underneath that. And if we want to see that, we can hit Control, hold Control down, and then hit T. And you'll see that the What's Wrong box will pop up again. But now if I close this, you can see that it opened all these and showing me the underlying warnings below the errors. And if I want to close that again, as long as my cursor is in my feature tree, I can hit Control T. What's Wrong pops up again, and then I hit close, and then it condenses them again. Again, it just depending on what you want to see. If I have a more complicated part model and I need to search for something, I can come up here and use the search bar. If I want to sketch, and again, it's intuitive. I just type the first couple letters and it comes up with these sketches. I can, or maybe like a fillet. And it's a quick way of searching. If I want to clear that, I just hit this X and it goes back to that. All right, so let's click in here again. Let's hit our Control T and open up that flat view again. So we're showing this. And so when we fix something and we rebuild the drawing, it's going to start fixing it from the top down. And so that's why it's best to start from the top and work our way down. Now, what we're going to find is because there's dependencies and these parent-child relationships, sometimes when we fix something up top, it's going to start fixing things below. And the way that we can tell what is related to one another or not is if I go up here on this part model name and I right click, we've got two icons here, and it's a dynamic reference visualization, and there's a parent and a child. And if I click both of these, I have to go in there again and highlight both of them. What that means is if I come down here and I hover over one of these, you can see those arrows that you've got the dotted line that comes out to this other vertical line here. And you can see up above what they're related to, and you can see down below what is, related to, say, that rib. That fillet is tied to that rib. And this rib is tied to the shell above and the plane and the cut extrude. And so it gives us a way of seeing what is all tied to each other. And if you don't want to see those, you can right click and we can click those off. Now when I hover, those don't appear. Okay, so before we actually get into fixing things, I'm going to stop this video here, and again, to keep them hopefully under 10 minutes, and I'm going to continue with the next video.